arrives at Simpatia, home to a large tribal community who joined the outside world over a century ago.
E saíram bem ali, só quatro rapazes. Foi bem, só que o rio agora tá cheio. Aqui era uma praia, os índios saíram ali, ó. O rio tava seco, aqui fica uma praia, você viu como é rasinho aí? Lá eles saíram na beira, ficaram falando, não sei o quê. Aí...
The men were speaking a language which relates to that of another local tribe. But that day, people barely understood each other. Their words have now been fully translated, and they reveal the group were fleeing something terrible.
Welcome back today, guys. Today I'll be interviewing my roommates Colin, Corey, and Tyler. So today's topic is on isolated tribes. So the first question is, what comes to mind when you think of isolated tribes? Corey, you want to start us off?
When I think of isolated tribes, I think of a group of individuals that have no outside contact with other human beings that aren't a part of that tribe.
Good answer. Tyler?
I just think of Native American tribes in the United States.
I agree with Tyler.
I would have to agree with you both, but when I think of isolated tribes, I think about the two types of tribes, which one type is that remains completely isolated and has no idea of the outside world, and the other tribe that is aware of the outside society and chooses to remain isolated.
How many tribes have no contact at all?
Good question. There are 8 main indigenous tribes on the coast of India called Nanti, and of those 8 indigenous tribes, 6 prefer no contact, according to Conrad Feather.
Also, I heard something about the Sentinel tribe and killing an American.
Oh yeah, that happened the past weekend, or 2 weeks ago. And so American civilian came over to the tribe, which is located on the coast of India, and the tribes had no way to defend themselves but shooting arrows, and they killed the man. But the government decided to leave the body of that American man on the island. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know, I think it should be up to the family, not the government.
Corey?
I believe if there's a way to get the American body there, you should use whatever's necessary to grab that.
I'd have to go with the family. Up to the family.
Okay. Good answers.
Wait, I have a quick question.
Yeah.
How many tribes are there in the world?
So in the 1800s, according to Survival International, there was 2,000 tribes. How many do you think are left over today?
Oh wow.
I would say 150.
Yeah, I'd say 50 to 100 maybe.
I think you guys are way too low. I think 1,000.
Great. I would, before this paper, I would think right around what Tyler said, maybe a little lower. But according to Forbes, there are 100 remaining isolated tribes. Where do you think those tribes are mainly located, Colin?
South America.
Okay.
I would say maybe third world countries, and I know there's a lot in Africa, so I'd say around Africa
Okay.
maybe.
Asia, maybe.
Okay, all great answers. Most of the tribes tend to live in thick areas like forests, and so they mainly live in the Amazon and New Guinea. However, there are tribes, as mentioned before, off the coast of India, and there's a lot in Asia, like you said. The next question I have for you guys is, what do you think some of the major threats to the remaining tribes are?
I would say colonization, people taking over their land to build skyscrapers and cities and stuff like that.
Good answer, Colin.
I agree. I would say people who don't want them there.
Corey?
Exactly that, honestly.
Yeah, so all those are good, but some threats include cattle ranchers, diseases, colonists, loggers, and roads. But according to Survival International, starting in the 1980s, 50% of the tribes were destroyed by diseases. Some of those diseases are influenza, measles, chickenpox, and why do you think that they die so easily from those diseases, guys?
I think it's lack of medicine, honestly.
Yeah, I was gonna say they have nothing.
I mean, they might have tribe doctors or something, but they don't have the technology that we have.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so
They're also
they've
probably
been
not near any hospitals.
I would have to agree with that, but a lot of these tribes, so there was a case in the 1980s, and the Awi tribe, as they were called, they were removed from their village peacefully, and they actually died from diseases such as those. But the thing to remind is that since they've been isolated for so long, they have weak immune systems, so they're not able to recover to what they are. So the next question I have for you guys is: should isolated tribes have the same laws as normal citizens? If so, why or why not? Corey?
I believe normal citizens and isolated tribes should have the same amount of laws. I mean, if you're living on the same land that belongs to that country, then you should follow that country's rules.
Yeah, I don't see why they shouldn't have the same rules.
I kind of disagree. I feel like they're living so remotely and so out in the middle of nowhere. If they want to, like, obviously you got to think of like, there's got to be some rules, but I mean taxes and stuff like that. That's
yeah. So I agree with exactly Tyler. So I think tribes should follow like the civilized laws, such as like no rape, murder, theft, and kidnap. But I don't think they should have to follow like governmental laws, such as like land tax. Like I don't think it's okay for a government to just go into an isolated tribe and just start charging them for their land. So what is your opinion on the decision for some countries to fund campsites outside the villages? So this is a recent move on the coast, no, not the coast, on Indonesia. There is a tribe that has campsites outside the isolated villages, and like the government funds them. They provide like medicine, fruits, and vegetables. Do you think that the government should fund those?
I mean, if they're like you said in the last question, like if they're not going to expect income tax or anything like that, then I don't think that the government should fund those.
Okay, Colin?
I mean, if they're in desperate need of medicine, I feel like they should be able to.
Okay.
I feel like if the tribe is following the laws put in place by the government, then the government can provide them with necessities.
So kind of like an agreement, like they stay in their area.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
Okay, good. I would have to agree with that. But I think as humans, we must do everything to protect those remaining people. So one case that was talking about this, in the 60s, there was a group called the Nati that was governmental funded, and they decided to build roads through this tribe, and that 169 of those members died because of the roads, whether it was like they destroyed it or the diseases. What do you think should happen to those people who destroy those land and those people?
I definitely don't think it's right. I mean,
I don't think it's right, but it's kind of hard to avoid.
you can always make like compromises though.
That's true.
Like, I honestly don't think anything should happen to those people, but I think in the future, like, standards should be set to where ground rules are laid out to.
I agree with that, but I think today there's no laws, like there's no real laws, especially in those countries like in the Brazil and like Asia, those countries that have no laws protecting those people. Like anyone can just go in there and take their law. So I think that like if you are caught inside that villages, you should be able to get like funds, or if it happened a couple times, you should go to jail. Like I think they need to make the law stricter.
Yeah, I agree.
So do you guys got any last questions for me to end this interview? Awesome. Luke?
What's the most famous isolated tribe out there today?
It was the tribe that actually killed that man on the coast of India on the Sentinel Island.